Steve Perry and Arnel Pineda performing together. Well, let's be truthful. This hasn't happened. As a matter of fact, I've got to admit my Photoshop skills are pretty darn crummy. But if Arnel Pineda had his way, this is exactly what would happen. As a matter of fact, during a recent interview, Arnel Pineda said that he dreams of a Steve Perry reunion with the band Journey. He says, "I'm delivering on the legacy that the Voice has left behind." And then he goes on to talk about back when Journey was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and his meeting with Steve Perry. That moment when Steve really seemed to pass the baton on to Arnel. You know, the duties of being the lead singer for a band as massive and as popular and as instrumental as Journey has been in terms of classical rock, progressive rock, hard rock. You name the type of music, and Journey has had an impact on that particular genre. So anyway, Arnel has said that there's nothing more that he would like than to share the stage with Steve. And if Steve doesn't want to share it, he's more than happy to step aside, but it would be one of the true highlights of his life to have that opportunity. He is, quite frankly, a big Steve Perry fan, as are lots of people out there. Speaking of Mr. Perry, I can't do a video on Arnel Pineda and his desire to see Steve back on stage with Journey and not mention Steve's newest release, which is an alternate version of the album Traces. Its actual title is Traces Alternate Version and Sketches, and it includes a lot of acoustic stripped down versions of the songs that, well, you know, those highly emotional songs that Steve just delivered a home run on with the album Traces. And speaking of Traces, I've got to say, the artwork on that album is just phenomenal. So there's a handful of albums that are like this, but it's one of those things where you can look at that album and the artwork there forever, and you get new things every time you look at it. Anyway, great album, great new album by Steve Perry. And you know what? It's quite likely that Steve Perry is done with that chapter in his life. But even if there's a smidgen of a chance, I'm hoping that Steve stumbled across that article with Arnel Pineda, and he knows that he is always more than welcome to return to stage with the band that made him famous. So that's it. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And what the heck, why not subscribe to my Music Memories channel? I talk about all sorts of great artists, from Steve Perry to the Tubes to the Boomtown Rats. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.